Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Amira Adiola Soni, and I'm happy to be back talking to you about your health. It is my passion to bring to you messages that will help you to achieve the best health possible. So, today I'm going to talk to you about Nigerian foods that are likely to give you big belly. Let me start by telling you a story. So some weeks ago, I realized that I was having a big, like my belly was getting bigger, and I was wondering what was going on. I had to have some kind of reflection on my eating habits. Then I remembered that I had cooked a large bowl of Ogbono soup and I had been eating it frequently over a period of time. I realized that that must be where the problem was. And since then, I decided that I'm going to make this video. So we're going to begin with the Ogbono soup, like I mentioned. See, when many Nigerians talk about food that make you get fat, they're usually talking about starchy food. They say it's because you are eating fufu and all that. People forget to mention the sauces, the stews that we eat. So let me start with the Ogbono. Ogbono, the seed that you grind to make Ogbono soup, contains about 56 to 60% fat. So the ogbono itself that you're cooking is largely fat. And then when you cook, we all know, I mean, if you are initiated, well initiated, you know that the more the oil you put in your ogbono soup, the better the taste. So, and then you put a lot of palm oil. And then the combination of the palm oil and the ogbono itself makes it a very, very fatty food. So this is the kind of food that is likely to make you gain weight, make you gain belly fat. Number 2 is Egusi. I know we all love Egusi, right? I mean, it's even gone international. But Egusi itself, the melon, can be used to make oil. So you can imagine how fatty it is. So because of the high quantity of fats Egusi contains, it is number 2 on my list of what you need to eat less of or to avoid if you're trying not to gain weight. You see, oil, any kind of oil is bad. Some of you think that if you eat palm oil, then it's better, or if you eat coconut oil. And I want to really emphasize coconut oil. Coconut oil is good for your skin. It's good for moisturizing. It's good for your hair. But for consumption, coconut oil is not the best oil. I've seen many of your Instagram faves, your food bloggers using coconut oil. In fact, I will advise that you do not eat coconut oil at all. Just use it on your skin, use it in your hair, and let it be. For palm oil, it is also not good. So if you must, then you should reduce the quantity of the palm oil that you use. Now takes me to frying. So many food that are even okay, the moment you start to fry them, they become worse. And the more you fry, I mean, the amount of heat you have to use in your cooking, the worse the food gets. Now, the more you use a particular oil, I mean, you fried it, you used it to fry akara yesterday, then today you use it to fry yam, then tomorrow you are keeping it to fry something else. The more you are using that oil to you reusing that oil, the worse it gets. So it's advisable that you do not use your oil in that way. Maybe you use it to fry today and tomorrow you just pour it into a stew or something, so you don't have to continue to use the same oil to fry, or you just throw it away. Yoruba sisters, you love to fry your stew, right? You love that your oil gets very, very hot. Like I said, the hotter it gets, the worse the oil. So why not cook your stew, I mean your sauce, and then add palm oil later? It will still taste good. I have tried it. I do it, and I think you should consider doing that. You may want to fry once in a while for the taste, but it is bad for your health. When you use a lot of oil on your stew, try and decant it. Remove the oil before you start eating. Don't consume all the oil. If you feel like you have to use a lot of oil to cook a particular food, maybe you're making a fada sauce or any other kind of sauce, and you've put a lot of palm oil, when you are done, please remove the oil before you start serving so that you do not consume too much oil. Next, I'll talk about sugars. Some people like soft drinks so much that every day of their lives they have to drink. I mean, it is poison. I remember a time in my life when I actually saw sugar as poison. I would drink a bottle of Coke for like a week. It would be in my fridge. I'll just sip once in a while and just leave the rest. But some people consume like up to two, three bottles in a day. That is too much sugar for one person. So if you can, as much as possible, avoid sugars because they are processed. The more a food is processed, the worse it gets. Now, when we talk about sugar, most people just think about the sugar you put in your gari to sweeten it. But there are other types of simple sugars, like the flour that you use in baking. So your bread, your puff puff, your cakes, they are not good for you. So the more a food is processed, the worse it gets. And that is where I will now take you to your amala, your eba, and your fufu. Now, amala is also processed from yam and also your poundo. So if you are eating yam, yam is better than elubo because now elubo is processed from yam. So the more processed the food is, the worse it gets. So then, better for you are foods that are actually carbs but not that processed, like rice, like yam, like I mentioned earlier. But then the quantity now matters. In all of the things that I've mentioned, even the ogbono, in all of this, quantity matters. Because, for example, when you look at ogbono, because of how lovely it tastes, you're more likely to consume a lot of it at a sitting. So that quantity also makes it worse for you. Same goes for the egusi and the sugars and all that. So when we now come to complex carbs that are not processed, like rice, rice is okay. Rice is actually good. I think that if you're even trying to lose weight, you should eat rice. Don't mind the people that tell you not to eat rice. It is just the quantity that would be different because you need energy. Carbohydrates give you energy, and you need that energy to even do your workout and do other things and carry out your daily activities. But your quantity now is where the problem lies. This video is about what you shouldn't do. So I'm going to, hopefully, by God's grace, make another video talking about what you should do. And I think then we'll talk more about quantities and how it should be for each class of food. So you can eat rice, you can eat yam, but not in large quantities. You can eat potatoes, but by the time you are frying them, now they get worse. So now you see. So some people just like to fry. Beans is good for you. Beans has carbohydrates, but it's also a very good source of protein. So, but then when you now take the same beans and turn it to akara or kosei or bean cake, and then you fry, you see now you have worsened the akara. It's not as healthy as before. We have talked about all these foods. I'm sure there are more, but these are the ones I can come up with at this time. Something else that plays a role now is the time you eat. For some of us who are quite busy, we come back late and then find ourselves eating and then sleeping. If you can, try to eat early and maybe take an hour or two before sleeping. As much as you can. Whatever you can do to your lifestyle, to the way you live, to make it possible for you to eat earlier, to eat, to have at least 2 hours before sleeping, that would be good for you. Because late night eating is also a cause of belly fat. It is a big cause of it. Some people who don't even eat a lot may have belly fat just because they eat late. Alcohol, it has its own, a lot of reasons why alcohol will increase your belly fat. So I'm just going to stop at that. Talking about alcohol is a whole topic on its own. Alcohol makes everything worse for you. Every kind of condition you can think of. Once you are someone who drinks alcohol, your risk is higher, is more increased. Of course, I'm sure many of you know people who drink a lot of alcohol, and then when you see them, you can say, his belly is so big, he drinks alcohol. Then another thing that plays a role is your genetics. Some people are more predisposed to developing belly fat than others. There are people that will eat the whole of Africa and they won't have belly fat. They will rather store it maybe in their hips or on their legs. But some are more likely to store fat in the belly, and that's the worst place to store fat. I'm not talking of beauty. We know it's beautiful when you have a slim waist, but I'm talking of health, your health, because this fat is going to be visceral fat that will store around your organs in your tummy, your kidney, your around your liver, your intestine, and all that. And they have bad effects on your body. They will affect your insulin levels and all of that. I don't want to be going into medical stuff. I'm just going to be giving you the basics that you need. I believe with all of this, you all understand what to avoid. Avoid fatty food, avoid the Ogbono and the Egusi. If you must eat them once in a while, not all the time. For me, I think I've had all of the Ogbono I need for the rest of this year. I want to add that you should also reduce your salt intake. So, with these few words of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you on what to avoid if you want to avoid gaining weight, especially around your belly as a Nigerian. In my next video, I'm going to talk to you about what options you should choose if you're avoiding all of this.
You know you gotta be the one who prays on time.